everybody, it's your friend and your guy and your favorite content creator who will never ask you to DM me on Telegram or anything else, Gardiner. Those are scams. Do not click on them. Do not respond to them. There's been so much happening in the world of the Steam Deck. So much so that I've lost track of how many stories we're actually going to talk about today. From new software updates to possibly a brand new game coming from Valve by the end of the year. Guess what? It's Steam Deck news time. So the first thing I want to do before we get into anything else is I want to talk about a few games that I'd recommend for the Steam Deck. First up is Persona 5 Royal. It's a verified game for Steam Deck and it's truly a masterful game. So many people have so much good to say about it. The art is beautiful, the game is fun. Check that game out. I've also been playing the heck out of Luxor Evolved. Now, this title is ranked playable. It's another game in the Evolved lineup, and it has the mechanics of the classic Luxor franchise. Now, I got my start with Zuma back in the day, and Luxor is another take on this idea. Super fun game, very much love this title. Finally, the latest Jackbox game, the Jackbox Party Pack 9, released on October 20th, and it's on sale at Humble for the rest of the day. Now, I love these Jackbox games, and this 9th installment actually includes Fibbage 4, which the Fibbage games are my personal favorite of the Jackbox titles. Now, I love playing Jackbox games with my friends and family, and this is an absolute steal for 25 bucks. Now, I wanted to touch on a bit of a meme today. About 10 days ago, Reddit user the Stevens8789 posted to the Steam Deck subreddit asking for the community's feedback. The title of his post was, "Help, I've set my boot video to Shrek and now I can't use..." This is so funny, I can't even say it. "Help, I've set my boot video to Shrek and now I can't use my Steam Deck until it's over." And this is an incredibly ironic post, seeing as the Steam Deck is like an onion, as we all know. Now, most of the comments on this post are not particularly helpful, but there were a few pretty funny ones. "Once it finishes, be sure to reboot before doing anything else. You've got yourself a Steam Shrek." And I think you meant to say that you can't play Steam Deck until it's Ogre. And then just a couple days ago, the subreddit's mods actually updated the logo of the subreddit to Shrek's face. So no telling how long it's going to stay that way, but I think that's incredibly funny. But seriously, I am like thinking about this. I'm like, what the steps were that OP had to take in order to make such a massive mistake. I mean, they would literally have to extend the limit on the length of a boot movie, which is doable. Then they would actually need a digital copy of Shrek. They would need to re-encode that copy of Shrek to a WebP file, and then they need to place that file in the directory. See, none of these are trivial tasks, and it seems really funny to me that this guy thought he could fuck around and not find out. I mean, the idea that someone technically savvy enough could achieve this and not realize the consequences of his actions is just hilarious to me. Anyway, this might take the cake as the best worst Steam Deck movie, but I would like to know your suggestions. What are your best worst Steam Deck movies? Leave me a comment and let me know. I would love to hear from you. Next up, VRR is getting better support on the Steam Deck. Now, reportedly, VRR works for a lot of people, but there are different screens made by different manufacturers that don't support variable refresh rate. Now, according to a commit on the GameScope GitHub, there's now more robust support for variable refresh rate displays. Reddit user Italo Ghost noticed the change and shared it with the community. Variable refresh rate has been a bit of a cat and mouse game on Linux, but having it built right into GameScope is going to be a great thing. This change hasn't made its way to the deck yet, but it should make its way soon. I'd like to know what you think though. Do you have FreeSync or G-Sync displays? Is this something that you would actually end up using with your Steam Deck? Leave me a comment and let me know. And while you're down there, make sure you like that smash button and smash that subscribe button so you can stay up to date with all the cool stuff that we're doing here on the channel. We're nearly at 100,000 subscribers, and once we hit 100,000, I'm going to be giving away a Steam Deck. We have a ton of awesome stuff in the works, so stay tuned. Next up, there are over 6,000 titles that are now ranked as either playable or verified on Steam. This is yet another impressive milestone for the deck. Now, Boiling Steam has a terrific write-up on this. There's now 3,604 playable titles and 2,370 titles ranked as verified. And the ratio between playable versus verified titles has changed over time. Before the deck was released, the split was about 50-50, but over the last few months, that ratio has dropped. Why is this the case? Well, there's probably several factors. First, several community members were complaining very vocally that some verified games were not actually providing an ideal experience on deck. and Valve tends to react when lots of people speak up. So perhaps they've pushed their team to be more stringent about which titles actually receive the coveted verified rank. This is definitely a possibility, but it could also be that Valve focused more of their time early on games that they knew would be more deck friendly. Honestly, it's probably a combination of the two. But I'd like to know what you think. Do you believe Valve's doing a good job with the verified program? Leave me a comment and let me know. Okay, next up, this is absolutely huge news. What the hell is Valve's Neon Prime? So Valve has filed for a trademark on the name Neon Prime with the US Patent and Trademark Office. According to the filing, Valve says that the trademark is for, quote, Neon Prime trademark registration is intended to cover the categories of entertainment services, namely providing online video games, provisioning of online entertainment, namely online computer games, providing online computer games and online video games, electronic game services provided by means of the internet, providing information on the fields of computer games and entertainment via the internet, organizations of competitions relating to video games, video game education, and video game entertainment, and providing information in the field of online computer games and online video games and computer games. Okay, that's pretty interesting. A lot of word salad, to be honest. But does this mean that Valve is going to be releasing a new game? Or maybe is Valve attempting a game streaming service? There's been a lot of speculation in the community. Now, it could be the rumored Citadel game that Valve has been working on, or it could be a sci-fi MMO. The name Neon Prime tends to lend itself to the idea of a sci-fi game, that's for sure. Now, originally a few words stuck out in this, the fact of like online and video game entertainment and education. But if we compare this filing with the Half-Life Alyx listing, we can see that it's virtually identical. The most interesting thing here is that for all the data mining and stuff that the community does to try to dig up what it is Valve is doing in the background, well, there has never been a single reference to Neon Prime discovered. That is to say, the string Neon Prime doesn't appear anywhere in any data mined leak. At least that's according to passionate gamer Tyler McVicker. Whatever it is, we will probably learn the truth either at the end of Valve's The International or at the Game Awards this year. One can only hope. Leave me a comment and let me know. I'd love to know what you think Neon Prime is and when we'll find out. Finally, as is tradition around these parts, let's talk about software updates for deck. Now, there were both stable and beta updates this week. First, the stable update had a few truly great improvements. The quick access menu now opens to the notification tab when you have new friend chat messages, game invites, or voice chat invites. That'll save you a few clicks. Notifications for game invites in the quick access menu now have an option in the footer to accept them without having to navigate to the chat window. Added external display safe mode to developer settings. When enabled, the next time an external display is plugged in, Steam Deck will pick a lower resolution configuration, which may help in some cases where the external display has issues. Increased boot animation max length from 10 seconds to 30 seconds, added controller-specific glyphs on the lock screen. They changed it so that the power menu won't show switch to desktop when on the lock screen. They fixed an issue where Steam group chats with long names or descriptions could break the layout of the chat screen. They fixed an issue on the lock screen where you'd have to dismiss the on-screen keyboard manually if you slept the device while it was up. They fixed invoking the on-screen keyboard while already in a full-screen keyboard input scenario, causing bad behavior. They fixed a case where the performance overlay would still show when set to off. And for Steam Input, they restored the previous behavior of using stick deflection rather than the capacitive sensor for radial menus that don't have center button. They've also fixed some in-game crashes and fixed an issue with editing command settings from inside the virtual menu screen. And then there were several smaller beta updates. First, they added a component lookup view to the settings. This is really cool, but only reflects the hardware components as shipped from Valve. So if you had a noisy Delta fan and you replaced it with a howling one, then this menu won't reflect that change. And then another beta update later on that week added the ability to skip startup movies by pressing B. This goes back to the Shrek meme that we talked about, and this was added specifically because of that. They also added a games to play together feature and a few other UI improvements. And then last Friday, they improved login times for users with large libraries, fixed a few links in the Steam library, fixed a few glitches, and decreased the load time for the virtual keyboard. Overall, the Steam Deck's development cycle is incredibly fast. It's very impressive to see. I'd love to know what you think. What are features that you would like to see on the Steam Deck? Well, that's it for Steam Deck news this week. Did I miss something? Leave me a comment and let me know. I'd love to hear from you. Now, I want to give a special shout out to my patrons and my YouTube members. It's because of these fine folks that I've been able to bring you all of this amazing Steam Deck news so consistently, so thank you to them. If you believe in the work that I'm doing and you want to help this show grow, you can become a Steam Deck warrior over on Patreon or as a YouTube member. There's links below, and thanks. That's going to do it for now though. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you all have a blessed day, and I'll see you next time.